Are these side hustles going to be legit? I seriously have not even watched this video one time through, so we'll get a honest reaction here to these side hustles from someone, if you're familiar with the channel, has done almost every side hustle out there. I've probably done a lot of these. I'll tell you if I think they're legit, if I've made money with them before. Let's dive into this one.
I found 11 easy side hustles that can actually make you rich in 2024. And I'm not just going to tell you the side hustles, I'm also going to give you examples of people who are able to get rich doing these. Let's get into it with number one on the list, which is going to be selling dirt. No, not the famous Alice in Chains album, actual dirt.
Sorry, what?
That's right, you're going to be selling the very ground that people walk on. And it's a dirty business, literally.
Okay, well, this is a crazy one to start out with, selling dirt. I'm sure that some people can sell dirt on Etsy and make money. There's got to be some kind of market for it, but let's see what he's really talking about here.
And if you don't believe me that you can get rich from this, look at the story of a guy who did. He was basically a guy from Ireland who moved to the United States, and he noticed at Irish funerals that many Irish people wanted to have Irish dirt sprinkled on their coffin. But that's not the only type of dirt-related business that you can make money from. In many cases, you can make money by moving dirt. So for instance, you can make about $150 to $600 on average for 10 to 15 cubic yards delivered. You can make about the same amount of money if you deliver sand. And garden centers will typically sell 40-pound bags of topsoil.
So selling dirt, I mean, moving dirt, I guess if you put out a listing on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, a service of, hey, I'll go pick up bags of sand for you at Home Depot and deliver it to your house, that's definitely viable. There's people that don't want to carry those big bags out to their car, carry them back in their house. They just want them in the yard. I could see that as a business opportunity here, set up a service to do that. As far as just selling jars of dirt, unless you have access to some really sought after dirt that you can get like for free, I don't think that's a thing worth trying. But you know, delivering heavy bags of sand or dirt from Home Depot to people's yards could be a decent opportunity there.
Next is going to be something that I've done myself, which is flea market flipping. And this is basically the art of buying undervalued items.
Yeah, okay, we talked a lot about on this channel. Gonna probably go through this one pretty quickly here. I might skip out a lot of what he has to say. He's talking specifically about flea markets, which I've been to a few times, but you could do this: garage sales, Goodwills, thrift stores, things like that. Buy things for cheap, sell them for more on eBay, Facebook Marketplace, things like that. Definitely viable.
And then selling them for a profit. And in this particular case, you would be doing it at a flea market.
But yeah, definitely not revolutionary here. And it's just about in every single side hustle video on YouTube that you can imagine.
Next is going to be creating online courses. Now, this one is insanely profitable if you do it the correct way. And the reason it's so profitable is because it's incredibly scalable. You basically just create the course one time and you don't have to do anything after that. And there's a girl on TikTok who made over $100,000 in a single day selling online courses that teach people how to use Excel. So just as an example of this, let's say...
Yeah, okay, selling online courses definitely going to be very profitable, especially if you have a large audience. And some of these people on YouTube charge $100, $200, even $1,000 for some of their YouTube courses. You know, it could be on anything, but definitely people making a ton of money on this. If you don't have an audience, you still can make money with this on Udemy. You could upload your course on Udemy, which is a marketplace for online courses. And actually is not too hard to get people to sign up for some of these courses for really cheap. And you'll get a small cut, but you can make money a little bit from courses on Udemy. And especially if they kind of blow up on Udemy with no audience, you can make some decent money here. So definitely viable.
Overall, I'm going to give this one a 9.5 out of 10 opportunity score. Next is going to be TikTok affiliate marketing. And this is the art of promoting products that other people own and getting a small percentage of the sales, aka you're an affiliate on TikTok. So one example that pops into my head was a very controversial figure named Andrew Tate. And he created an affiliate product where other people would promote it all over the internet. And this was a pretty reasonably priced product. I think it was like $50 or something like that. And the affiliates would get 50% of the sale. And there were people that were making like $50,000 a month promoting these products. And there's an example of a 24-year-old that works about 2 hours a day and makes over $8,000 a month. And she basically got laid off from her waitress job, and then she kind of started entrepreneurship, but she started off as a fitness coach, but she wasn't making enough money from it, and she was also working ridiculous hours. So she started creating content on TikTok and started...
Yeah, so you'll notice here in the fine print, if you're reading it over here, it says in the third paragraph, by October, my business had taken off and my TikTok following grew to more than 40,000 followers. So definitely crucial that you need some kind of following to have a good affiliate marketing business. But another way is to just run ads and use these affiliate links. So definitely a viable way to do it. Now with TikTok Shop, you can find anything to promote through a TikTok video. So if you just have, even the viral TikToks here without having a ton of followers, I think you should be able to still promote them and sell some TikTok products that you can find on Shop. So I think you could try it. Kind of an interesting one if you're good at making viral content.
Next is going to be print on demand services. So you've probably
Print on demand, something that I personally got my start in with side hustling, and it was my first ever really successful side hustle where I made over $1,000 in a month was print on demand. So I definitely recommend checking it out and trying it, especially on the free platforms like Redbubble, Amazon, Etsy's basically free as well. They charge, I think, 35 cents to list something, and you can make sales on all those platforms without spending any money on ads. So I would try it out. Great way to get started with side hustling. But now, more so than when I started over 5 years ago, the supply is a ton and the competition is a lot. So harder to get into it now, but you still can make it happen. And my number one tip for starting print on demand is going to be find print on demand products that don't really exist anywhere else. So you can use sites like Printful and find their new products that may not be on Etsy yet and use those ones.
Next is going to be audiobook creation. So if you're someone who has a charming voice, let's say you're listening to this and you have like a proper British accent. Hello, governor. Audiobook creation might be a really good one for you to get into. And this is basically where you read a book out loud, and then people who like to consume that type of content by listening to it on websites like Audible will end up purchasing that audiobook. And then you would get a cut of that purchase. And there's an example of a 34-year-old mom who quit her job as a music teacher and now makes six figures doing exactly this. So she was only making about $30,000 a year as a music teacher, and she had tens of thousands of dollars in student loan debt. And then she became an audiobook narrator, and she started making six figures a year. And she's almost completely paid off all of her and her husband's student loan debt. And this isn't just a side hustle; you can actually do it as a job as well. And audiobook narrators make between $46,000 and $80,000 a year. So yeah, this is another really good one. Relatively easy to get into. It's especially good if you have a charming voice. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if he means, I'm not super familiar with the side hustle, if he means that you can just upload a full audio file of you reading an entire audiobook on Audible and that can somehow get accepted into their platform, and then anytime someone buys your specific audio of your voice through that book, you make money. I don't know if that makes sense what I just said, but definitely selling voiceovers has been a thing for years now. If you go on Fiverr, you can see literally over hundreds of thousands of results of people selling their voiceover services. So it's going to be a very tough market to get into. Again, a lot of competition. Unless you could really stand out from the competition in some way, going to be pretty hard to get started with this, to be honest, unless there is something with that Audible audiobook that I didn't fully understand there.
Next is going to be car sharing. And this is basically where you rent out your vehicle to other people when you're not using it. So some people do this, for instance, when they go to work. If they're going to be at work for a long period of time, they'll just rent their car out to another person. And you can do this on a website like Turo. And Turo is basically like the Airbnb of car.
Yeah, so Turo, you've probably heard of Turo. I haven't experienced it. I'm not interested in renting my car out, even though there are probably at least 3 or 4 days per week that I don't use my car at all. I don't have any interest in letting a stranger get in my car, drive it around, and bring it back. Who knows what they're doing in my car? They're putting wear and tear on it. They could damage it in some way that I don't notice for a few weeks. Then, my car's damaged, but you can make money with this. I don't know how much, but I'm guessing it's a decent amount of money if you're willing to rent out your car and don't care about everything I just mentioned before that. So you could try it if you want.
Next is going to be a home organizing or decluttering service. And this is basically where you transform a chaotic space into an organized haven. And an interesting fact is nearly 25% of Americans admit that their garage is so cluttered that they can't even fit their car inside of it. And there's a story I saw of a 25-year-old that makes $65 an hour and $4,000 a month helping people declutter their homes.
This is pretty interesting. I've never heard of this thing specifically. I've heard of, obviously, coming over to your garage and hauling away trash and cleaning it up that way, but just coming to your garage and reorganizing things, or I guess it's even could be like your kitchen or bedroom, based on the images he showed. Kind of interesting service. Could throw it up on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, see if anyone has interest in that, hand out flyers, that kind of thing. I haven't heard of too many people doing that, so competition on this one might actually be low, but is very weird and pretty niche. And you probably have to be good at organizing stuff as well, so could try it. Kind of interesting. Let's actually see what he has more to say on this one. A lot of these I've been fast forwarding, but more interested in this one, so let's see what he has to say more about it.
You can actually make a lot more than that. For instance, professionals make about $78,000 to $144,000 a year. There's even books that are written about this and people that have made millions of dollars teaching other people how to do this. For instance, Marie Kondo, she's a world-renowned decluttering expert, and she's made millions and millions of dollars writing books and teaching people how to organize and declutter their homes. I'll go ahead and give this one a 7.5 out
So
of.
do you know what the move actually I think with this is? What he kind of mentioned but didn't really get into it is making this a YouTube business. I think this would be something that people would watch on YouTube. It could be YouTube Shorts, TikToks, anything like that, long form content. But if you record yourself doing this, maybe do time lapses, and if you get the jobs posting them on social media, then you can also sell a course, like he mentioned, on how to get started with this type of business. I think that's an interesting play on this as well, rather than just doing it. I haven't seen that niche on YouTube, but I think it could do pretty well on social media.
Next on the list is a very interesting one, and that is selling a custom clothing line. Now, I know you're thinking starting a custom clothing line sounds like a ton of work, and not everyone can. That's true. If you try to start like an international brand, that would be a ton of work. But what a lot of people do is they actually start a local custom clothing brand, and then they sell it on localized social media platforms like TikTok or Facebook. And basically what they do is they'll try on the clothing, and they do it on camera, and it's usually a live, and they'll have people actually bid on the clothes live in the comment section on either TikTok and or Facebook. And then when someone buys it, they just have to PayPal you or just send you the money, and then you would ship it to them. And this is especially good if you're selling local type clothing, so clothing that has something to do with the local place that you live. So this is actually a new way of making money that I'm seeing a lot of people doing, and there's people that are absolutely crushing it doing this. So overall, I'm going to give this one an opportunity score of 7.5.
Okay, well, this is another one that I haven't heard of. People doing this local clothing brand and selling clothes locally and doing it on live streams. I mean, I guess with the rise of TikTok Live and stuff like Whatnot, you could do this. I would do it with Whatnot, I guess, but it's not really your own brand. So I'm not really sure I fully understand this one. But also, this is the only one he didn't give an example of so far of someone actually doing it. I watched the entire thing with you guys here, and I believe it's the only one so far he didn't give an idea of someone who's actually doing this. So I'm not sure how this really would work, but I guess there's an opportunity there if this is a thing.
Out of 10. Next is going to be pet training. And this is going to be especially good for you if you're someone who likes spending time with. So this could be anything from training dogs how to do tricks to teaching cats how to poop in the sandbox. If you don't think you can make money from this, here's a story about a female dog trainer who became a millionaire.
Okay, well, pet training, I'm pretty sure you need some kind of license, I would think. I would definitely look into this before just putting out a service or flyer saying I'll train your dog somehow. But again, this is another type of business that maybe people on social media would be interested in. If you make videos around this and then sell a course, I'm guessing how this person became a millionaire was by, yeah, it says in the first sentence here they did a blog, so, and did like conferences. So they scaled it to the next level rather than just doing one-off dog trainings to make a ton of money. But you could do this. It's not a new idea by any means here.
Known as the Dog Talk Diva, and she owns the Dairy Dell Doggy Dude Ranch and Training Center. And you can do this as more than just a side hustle or business. You can actually get employed doing this. And pet trainers make about $36,000 to $57,000.
Yeah, so regular pet trainers, you're not going to make a ton of money here, 36 to 57K a year. But like I said, adding on the business with the blog, with selling a course, with making a YouTube channel around it is really how you're going to make more money with something like this.
This one's pretty good. People absolutely love their pets and they'll do anything for them and they're willing to spend a bunch of money on that. So I'll give this one an 8 out of 10 opportunity score. Speaking of pets, the next one on the list is going to be pet photography. And believe it or not, this is another extremely profitable.
Okay, last one was pet photography. I'm not going to get too much into this one. It's one of my least favorite of the video. You could be a photographer for anything. It's not a groundbreaking idea to take pictures of your pet. So overall in the video, I thought some kind of cool, interesting ideas. Trying to think of my favorites right off the top of the head. I guess the decluttering people's houses is interesting. I don't think there's going to be a ton of competition for that if you could set up a good business plan to show people, this is the service I'm going to do, because it's kind of something that people would have to get knowledgeable on, because I don't think a lot of people know that this is a service. So you got to market it really well. But I think it's going to be low competition. And then, like I said, with a good amount of these businesses, I think adding a social media aspect and a course could make these, double in profit or even like 10x in profit, because some of these you're not going to make much more than 50K a year if you're doing it full time. But if you add on these different layers of selling a course, having a social media, things like that, you can make a lot more with these. So overall, I think some good ideas in here. A lot of them are very basic ideas like flipping stuff on eBay, print on demand, but definitely some cool ideas in this one. So overall, I enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think. Subscribe to the channel. Check out more videos here. I'll put a playlist of some other reaction videos to side hustles as someone who's done a ton of side hustles, but I also have other videos on the channel of how I make money with my various side hustles. So check all that out. Subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in another one.